It's 11:47 p.m. You're lying in bed, phone right in front of your face, watching someone else live a life you tell yourself you want. The body, the discipline, the money, the confidence, the freedom. For a second, it feels close, like maybe you could have that too. Then you lock your phone, stare at the ceiling, and feel it again. That quiet feeling you've been trying not to think about. Not sadness, not tiredness, something worse. The feeling that your life looks okay from the outside, but deep down, you know this is not really your life. You reply to messages you don't care about. You laugh at things that aren't funny. You say yes when you want to say no. You wake up and decide who you need to be before the day even starts. And maybe that's what's starting to hurt. Not that you're confused, but that deep down, you already know what's wrong. You're not building a life, you're acting one out. And the worst part, you don't even want it. Part 1. You were taught to be accepted, not honest. Most people never build a real life. They build a version of themselves that other people will accept. That's how it starts. From the beginning, you were rewarded for being easy to like. Be polite, be realistic, be normal, be impressive, be likable, be successful in a way people understand. So that's what you learned to do. You learned how to make people comfortable. You learned how to say the right things, how to want the right things, how to look ambitious, how to sound confident, how to become someone people would praise. And little by little, without noticing, approval became your guide. Not truth, approval. So now a lot of your choices don't even feel like yours. They go through filters. What looks good? What sounds impressive? What people won't judge? What keeps others comfortable? What keeps people from seeing you differently? And that's how people get stuck. Not because of one big bad choice, but because of 1,000 small choices made just to stay accepted. That's how you wake up in a life that looks right, but feels wrong. Part 2. You don't want the life, you want what it gives you. This is where it gets uncomfortable. A lot of what you think you want, you don't actually want. You want what you think it will protect you from. Most people don't chase success because they love the work. They chase it because they think it will finally make them feel enough. Enough to be respected, enough to be wanted, enough to feel safe, enough to stop feeling small in rooms where they'll already feel less than everyone else. That's not real desire. That's trying to cover pain. A lot of ambition is just insecurity dressed up nicely. A lot of productivity is just fear in better clothes. A lot of confidence is practiced. And that's why so many people get what they thought they wanted and still feel empty because they never really wanted the thing. They wanted the feeling they thought it would give them. That's the trap. You're not chasing what you love. You're chasing relief. And a life built just to avoid pain will never feel like a life you truly chose. Because when fear builds your future, even success feels empty. Part 3. The mask is tiring because it's not real. This is why you feel tired all the time. Not in your body, in your mind. Because pretending is exhausting. It takes energy to be someone who doesn't fully feel real. It takes energy to pretend to care, to act certain, to fake interest, to copy what works, to hide what you really think, to slowly forget what you actually feel. That kind of life drains people because now you replay conversations in your head after they end, wondering if you said the right thing, trying to sound impressive, trying to be understood, trying to be liked, trying to be enough. And the longer you live like that, the harder it becomes to hear what you really want. And because after a while, your real voice gets buried under all the noise. And that's why people feel disconnected. It's not because they have no identity. It's because they've been pretending for so long, they can't hear themselves anymore. Part 4. The real problem is not that you're lost. You are not lost. That's the lie. Being lost means there's no direction. But that's not what this is. The signal is there. You've just been ignoring it. You already know what drains you. You already know what feels fake. You already know what you keep saying yes to because you're scared. Deep down, you already know which parts of your life don't feel like yours. You know, the problem is not confusion. The problem is that truth changes things. Because the moment you admit you don't want this life, you have to do something about it. And that's the real fear. Not being lost, being honest. Because honesty costs something. It costs comfort. It costs relationships built on a version of you that wasn't fully real. It costs plans you made just to impress people. It costs the version of you others got used to. That's why people stay stuck. Not because they don't know, because they do. But telling the truth means risking the life they spent years trying to build. Part 5. Stop asking what looks good. Start asking what feels true. This is where things change. Stop asking, what should I do? That question keeps you trapped. It keeps you performing. Ask a better question. What feels true? Even if it doesn't look impressive, that's where your real life begins. Not where you look good, where you stop changing yourself just to be accepted. Maybe the life you really want is quieter, simpler, less impressive, less approved of, less understood. But maybe it's yours. And that matters more because the goal is not to build a life people admire. The goal is to build a life you don't need to escape from. That's the difference. One is performance, the other is peace. And peace usually looks less exciting from the outside, but it feels much better to live in. So ask yourself the question most people avoid their whole life. What part of your life are you holding on to? just because it looks right? And what would happen if you stopped pretending long enough to tell yourself the truth? The honest answer will make you uncomfortable. Good. That usually means it's real. Now stop scrolling. Be honest. The people you're trying so hard to impress probably stopped thinking about you the second they got home.